Hello, everyone. I'm here to give you some more instruction and direction when it comes to the midterm assignment that is now available and posted on Canvas for you to access. I decided to post it up a couple of weeks early so that you have plenty of time to work on it, work on the question that you want to talk about, and to meet with me or send me any emails if you have any questions. Let me just share here the assignment so I can show it to you. Okay, so hopefully you can see that. This is the same thing you will see available on the Canvas assignment. The instructions are pretty straightforward. Write a 1250 word, double space, 12-point font, Times New Roman paper answering one of the following questions. You should begin your essay with an introduction that clearly states what your argument will be. The body of the paper should consist of evidence from the readings to support your argument. And finally, have a concluding paragraph that recaps and summarizes your point. Make sure to stay within the word limit and print to the word count at the end of your paper. When quoting or paraphrasing from one of the readings, make sure to cite your source just with the what we call the parenthetical citation, where you write just the last name of the author, comma, and the number of the page that you got the quote from, okay? You won't need a bibliography or works cited page for this paper, since the sources you are to use are the materials discussed in class. Please also note any class policies regarding late assignments as discussed in the syllabus. Make sure that if something is happening that prevents you from turning in the paper on time, then you email me as early as possible so we can figure out an alternative plan. You are not allowed to use any sources outside of the materials assigned on the syllabus. If you use any sources outside of the materials assigned on the syllabus, it'll actually count against you. So make sure that you keep to the reading assignments that we've had so far up to when the midterm is due. And really the point of this assignment is to, in a way, quote unquote, test your reading comprehension, right? That you not only did the reading assignments, but that you understood what was covered in those assignments, and that you're able to use the readings to think critically about different issues. So there are 3 questions listed here. You choose only one of these questions to write about, okay? Do not write about each one, just one question, okay? And I'll go over each question. So the first one is, in this bridge called my back, the authors use the metaphor of the bridge to talk about creating connections to others across difference. Using examples from both the bridge and Want to Start a Revolution, discuss what are the benefits and challenges in building a bridge across difference. So the key theme here is the metaphor of being a bridge across differences. There are lots of examples in this bridge called My Back of women talking about the challenges and the benefits of being a bridge. And then we see some examples also in Want to Start a Revolution of some of the women who chose to serve in a way where they were creating bridges across differences, whether, you know, between like the white feminist movement and the Black nationalist movement and so on. So your task, if you choose this question, is to select examples from both of the readings and use those examples to talk about the benefits and the challenges of being a bridge across difference. Make sure you cover both the benefits and the challenges, okay? If you only cover one, then you haven't really talked about the whole question, okay? You haven't really answered the full question, and that will count against you, okay? So hopefully that's a little bit clear about what that particular question is asking you to talk about. Okay, moving on to the second question. Choose 3 of the women featured in the book Want to Start a Revolution. Discuss their particular type of radical Black political activism. And in what ways do you think their particular radical activist methods were effective? Okay, so there are 3 steps to this particular question. One is to choose 3 women of the many women that we talk about in the readings that were assigned from this particular book. Then you have to discuss their particular type of radical political activism, okay? so you have to describe, each of the three women's type of political activism that they used. And finally, discuss in what ways do you think their particular radical activist methods were effective? Okay, so that's more the analytical part, right? One is choose the three women. The next is sort of describe their radical political activism. And the third part is the analytical part, where you're asked to analyze whether you think their particular radical activist methods were effective or not, right? And use examples from the reading to prove that they were effective or not, right? So if you want to argue that their methods were effective, then give some examples from the reading that demonstrate that they were effective in their strategies, right? If you want to argue that they were not effective, then give some examples of that as well, okay? Don't just say, I thought it was effective, and don't explain why or how, like where's the evidence for that, okay? So that's question number 2. The final question: in what ways do motherly roles limit or enhance the feminist possibilities for women of color? Consider examples from This Bridge Called My Back and Want to Start a Revolution. So in both texts, we saw examples of women talking about their mothering roles, right? And how these either enhance or limit the possibilities for feminist activism for women of color. Okay, so bring examples from, there were some essays in This Bridge Called My Back where the authors really focused on being mothers or other relationships to their mothers. And in Want to Start a Revolution, we saw some examples of some of the women taking on a kind of radical mothering kind of role. Okay, so talk about their mothering role and whether you think it limits or enhances feminist possibilities. So in this question, you have to choose one side or the other. Do you think mothering roles are limit feminist possibilities, or do you think they enhance the feminist possibilities? Okay, so don't talk about both. Here, the question is really making you choose one argument and then use the rest of the paper to show evidence for your argument, to prove your argument with examples from the reading. Okay, so hopefully that helps in clarifying what each of the questions are, what pieces to make sure to cover in each question, and what strategies to take with each question, okay? Of course, you can always come to office hours on Tuesdays and Thursdays, or email me with any questions for the clarification that you may want. If those times during my office hours don't work for you to meet, you can email me with times that work better for you, and I can figure out around my schedule what would work. So I hope this is helpful for you. And again, if you have any questions, make sure to reach out to me.